morning. Today is Wednesday, December 24th, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Zorie and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Merry Christmas.
Good. Merry Christmas. The question, do you open your presents Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
We used to open one on Christmas Eve and the rest on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's true. And we got to pick just one. And of course, I always pick the biggest box, and the best thing would be in the littlest box.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. My mom was a prankster. I mean, she would wrap a watch in a box as big as a washing machine would come in.
I love that stuff.
Oh, God.
I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I mean, it makes me scream and squeal and giggle. I love it.
I remember one year I wanted a watch so bad. Oh, just, I think I was in 7th grade or something like that, and I wanted one so bad. And we didn't open our presents that Christmas Eve. We waited till Christmas Day, and my friend came over, and she got this watch, and she was showing it off and everything. And I was just so bummed because I was looking under the tree, and there was nothing small like a watch. And and then shock of all shocks, she had it in a shoebox, and I got my watch. So, yeah. She's always doing stuff like that.
That's really cute.
And one year she got me because I used to always sneak in and open presents. Always. One year she wrapped a whole bunch of empty boxes.
Oh,
to teach me a lesson.
That's funny. Oh my God! I think I tried to pull Jules, and I'm not sure if it worked.
It's just not connecting.
Hang on just a minute.
Both of them just keep ringing. Huh. That's weird.
I don't even know how to... Wait. Oh, there it is.
Wow.
That sucks. What's going on, stupid Skype?
Yeah. I don't know.
They changed it all, and it's like...
Well, they just... okay, that one hung up. Call failed.
Alright, so I guess I'll just try and do this again, if I can. So
are you gonna, it dumps the second it connects, she said. That's what mine does whenever I try and call out on my Skype. I can't call anyone. I haven't been able to for a long time.
That sucks.
Yeah, it is. But, what was it, what was it? Now I went blank. Okay, I'm blank. Oh, yeah. Are you going to be spending Christmas with family or just you and your roommate?
Actually, my family's coming here.
Oh, that'd be nice. Does your family live close by?
Yeah, I mean, they're about a half hour away.
Ah, okay. Yeah, mine's far away, all of them.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but I don't really do that big a deal on Christmas anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my daughter's halfway across she's in Georgia. That's over halfway across. And then my mom's down south.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long way.
Oh, well.
Gas is cheap.
That's true, huh?
Yeah. Apparently that's putting Venezuela's economy in the crapper. So why I mentioned that.
Yeah, it seems to be doing a lot of damage. I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. The thing is that if gas prices, this is probably how gas prices should be right now at this time in history or whatever. I mean, because of whatever inflation and things of that nature, it should be about where it is right now. But they've gotten us so used to paying the higher prices because they've acclimated us, blah, blah, blah. Now we think we're getting a deal when, when honestly, this is what they should have been riding on for like the last 10 years. So, I mean, I guess my point is that they're they're gonna tank some economies. They're trying to target Russia. Venezuela's going, and then believe me, you're gonna see it just go like way
skyrocket.
Yeah, it's just gonna. It's gonna. They're just. It's kind of like what they're doing with that what they did with that stupid Kim Jong-un movie oh my God, what? We're pulling it from the theaters. Oh,
and now they're putting it out there. And you know what? I found an article that, after something like that happens, you always watch right afterwards to see who's going to benefit or what they were aiming at.
Right.
And it says here, White House nudges Congress to revisit controversial CISPA-style law after Sony attack. I mean, because look at what happened. They're still showing the movie. It's coming out in the theaters, and now they want to bring these laws back up because they couldn't pass them before. So now they're going to try this.
Absolutely, and they're going to just ram it through because look at the threat. Oh my God, the threat is so real. When it's them that created the damn threat in the first place.
Right, and I don't believe North Korea has they don't have really an internet structure in their country. Not like us or other ones, and for them to pick on that one. But anyway, this article, it says, President Obama said at his end of year conference on Friday that he had a cyber agency team look at everything we could do at the government level to prevent these kinds of attacks. We have been correlating with the private sector, but a lot more needs to be done, Obama said. He said he hoped Congress will, in the new year, work on stronger cybersecurity laws that allow the information sharing across private sector platforms as well as the public sector. This would help to prevent cyber attacks from happening in the first place, he added. Yeah, that's what I think would happen. I really think it was a false flag.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. Now, when that guy says more needs to be done, and he always says that phrase, I mean, you just put your seatbelt on because here it comes.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
More will be done. It's not that more needs to be done. More, he's just telling you.
Or it is done, and we're just going to let you know about it now.
Yeah, that's more to the point. But also, Sony is going to make bank. So this is why
all that free advertisement.
Free advertisement, the artificial release of the movie. Now they're going to release it in only certain venues, so that it will just everybody will just be lining up to watch this thing. And it's probably going to be a stupid as hell movie, typical Hollywood. Stupid idiot
movie.
Yeah, not worth paying not even worth a free watch on the stupid, rerun channel.
And what, do they show movie premieres in North Korea before they do here? I mean, how did they know about it?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, and
because it was. Do you remember it was leaked? Do you remember there was a leak quite some time ago? And then, look, here, and they were setting it up. You remember all that leak?
I remember the leak, but yeah.
I do.
That makes sense.
I should, look that up, because I remember this leak, a couple of months ago, and then Kim Jong-un got mad. You know what I mean? And that's when some of the threats he said were we're gonna send missiles over to the U.S. You remember all that?
Yeah, right. I mean, this is so far. I really think it's just to get these laws passed. Like 9/11 was there to take away our rights, so is this.
Absolutely. That's the exact reason why it's happening. And that's the reason why it's been staged like this. Because people's memory hole, they don't remember a few months back where there was a leak. And Now there's a big hack.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, well, this article goes on. Okay, so it goes, the Obama administration and the soon-to-be retiring Congress have failed to see eye to eye in the past 2 years on proposed cybersecurity legislation. The problem has been exacerbated by a series of high-profile attacks against U.S. businesses from state-sponsored hackers and lone wolf hacker groups. After the White House threatened to veto one controversial bill dubbed the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act, CISPA, new legislation made it through the Senate Intelligence Committee earlier this year. Critics called the new bill the similarly named Cyber Security Information Sharing Act, CISPA, an even more toxic bill than the original CISPA bill. It will be debated and voted on by the full Senate in the new year. So it'll be with the new Congress. And then it says, CISPA is designed to encourage ways of sharing information between government agencies and the private sector, including technology companies. It contains similar language to CISPA. Its failing predecessor. Critics warned the law, if passed, will allow private sector firms to search personal and sensitive user data or ordinary U.S. residents to identify threat information, which can be shared with the other opt-in firms and the federal government without the need for a court-ordered warrant. So, it's just another avenue to get into our information without warrants so that we have no way to fight back.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what their whole plan's been the whole time.
Yep.
They get us, it's like the carrot and the stick, they reel us in with all this free stuff, and look, it's all free, and then, bam, the clampdown happens.
Well, like that legislation that just passed, I forget, it was 180-something to 100 on the legislation that they can pull all our data, our emails, phone conversations, all that, and without a warrant now, and pass it on to law enforcement so they can build profiles.
Absolutely.
Yep. So this,
absolutely.
It doesn't matter what we say or how, or if we put up a protest about anything. They'll just bring it back out around the corner under a different name or this or that. It's going to pass whatever they want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the more of these false flags they put out, the people are, this is just going to give us license to clamp down even more. So, I mean, be prepared for a ton of this crap in the next year coming. I mean,
what is it? I read this thing. It said, when governments learn to get all their citizens' information, tyranny is bound to follow. When they get all the information on you, like you have no private life at all anymore.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And and that's just
okay. Well, here is proof of that. What I was just saying earlier. This is from November 29th of 2014, so a month ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it says several Sony films leak online after a hack attack. So when did this recent hack attack happen? Like last week, right?
Yeah.
So it was recent. So there was a leak that happened, like a plot leak.
Last month.
Mm-hmm. On the 29th of September. Well, wait, November. It says screener copies of the last 5 new Sony Pictures movies are being traded online after the studio's computers were hacked. And I'm going to just skip down to Sony is reportedly investigating a possible North Korean link to the hack. This comes after a statement released Friday by a North Korean government-controlled website threatened the filmmakers of Sony's upcoming comedy, The Interview, with stern punishment, quote-unquote. The plot of the film centers on two guys played by Seth Rogen and James Franco, who are sent to North Korea to assassinate leader Kim Jong-un. A Sony rep did not immediately respond for a request for comment. So, I mean, there was other leaked films as well, and that happened a month ago. So, they obviously set the stage for this.
Yeah.
I mean, they set the stage, and then, okay, look, a couple days ago now they've had a major hack, and now they can serve up dinner.
And now a lot of people that wouldn't have even bothered to go see the movie will go see the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you hit it right on the head.
And people just fall for it every time.
Every single time. Well, if it doesn't work, don't fix it. Or, you know what I mean? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I can just see, Congress putting together a bill real quick like this, but throwing it through, and Obama signing it on, like, New Year's Eve. That's his main trick to do.
Well, I think that, today is the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this the day that the UN gun ban goes into effect?
It sure is.
It sure as hell is.
That small arms treaty, right.
That's correct.
But, even if it does go through, we won't see anything right away because they always do the boiling frog thing. Yeah, people have forgotten about it, and so, they'll bring it in slowly, I bet.
Well, my thing is, they'll do something like at midnight tonight. You know what I mean? They'll pass this thing through, quote unquote, officially. Like there's only it's the same damn thing they did back in 1913 on this day here.
Yep.
Midnight on Christmas Eve.
And
we're in there. So this
for a treaty to be binding, the president can't even sign it by himself. It has to go through Congress.
Right.
And so I wonder if you're right. I wonder if they're going to just slide it through Christmas Eve. Nobody's paying no attention.
Well, here's the thing at what happened in 1913. There was only there was a few members of Congress and a few members of the Senate that were there, and of course the president. And so they slid it on through. Nobody else was there. Everyone else was on vacation. Mm-hmm. So, and that's how they're probably going to do this UN gun treaty tonight.
Yeah.
I would imagine I think tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're going to be like, oh, look, there's the...
Is the Senate still in? Or I thought they already did. Are they still in session? I mean,
no, they went. They took off. But
so I know what you're saying. A couple of them
have to come back. You know what I mean? A couple of them come back and blah blah blah. So that's how they operate. And they've done this too. Didn't they do that with like the Patriot Act?
With the NDAA, they did
that. The NDAA, yeah. I mean, they've done it
numerous times.
Old tricks still work the best. So I don't have any doubt in my mind that they're going to celebrate the anniversary of the freaking Federal Reserve in grand freaking style, and then they're going to sacrifice some kids too.
Yeah,
celebrate.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, holidays mean nothing to them anyway,
Well, yes, actually, in fact, they do mean a lot to them. It's the satanic holidays that mean something to them. And then, that believe me, they run with the pagan rites, and they celebrate all right. Let me tell you. I mean, just because we don't believe all that crap doesn't mean that they don't. And believe me, they do. They're can't even deal with it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we do have different ideas there about what holidays are, what they mean.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. Christmas is iffy on me. I like that season, but the actual holiday, I just see too many people going into debt for a whole year just to, you know, make themselves look more important, to give a bigger present than the other person gave. And just, you know, instead of caring about people all year long, you know, the people that just will buy they, you know, I got her a better gift than you did, or, you know, it just, and people that go in debt, way in debt, just to, you know, buy the presents once a year, just blows my mind.
Well, I don't think anybody that I gave presents to is listening right now. so I'll tell you, I'm a bit of a photographer. So what I do that's really cheap, and it's you know, personable. I just frame pictures that I took in an 8x10 frame and give those as gifts.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's meaningful, and
you made it yourself. You didn't go to the store and buy it.
Right. Well, I bought the frame.
Yeah.
Chinese junk, and you can get really cheap frames. But I'm giving a lot of pictures out, so it works out pretty nicely, actually.
Yeah. Well, like this year, I made a platter with peanut butter balls, rum balls, lemon bars, persimmon cookies, and that, and with a glass container in the middle, and I handed those. That's what I did. I usually make Christmas gifts. I'm not one to go out and buy gifts.
My friend made soap for everybody. She made soap.
I prefer it.
Yeah.
It's you know, it makes me feel like they cared enough about me to actually make something, take their time, you know, use their time and effort. When to go to a store and buy something, it's I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. There was this thing on TV that I was watching, but it's about this family that lives up in Alaska. It's called Alaskan Bush People, and they're pretty cool, actually, because they don't want nothing to do with civilization. It makes them sick to live in a house. You know what I mean? They want to build their own house. And they were making their own Christmas gifts, you know, and one of the brothers made the other brother a comb out of like an antler, a whole set of antlers, and he made like a handle, and he, you know, sliced out the teeth of the comb, and he had this big ass antler set running through the hair. It was pretty cool. I'm like, man, that's ingenious as hell.
Yeah, well, you know, when Chris was growing up, we made all of our Christmas tree decorations. And then we would use thicker strips of tin foil, and then the lights from the house would light up the tree.
Oh,
you know, we put God's eyes on there, and we made little those rings that you used to connect together, you know, with the circles. And then we strung popcorn, and we did that for years.
Neat.
Yeah, and then you just pull them all out. But yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it still lights up. You know, you just put a couple colored lights in, some lamps in the room, and it reflects.
That's awesome. I mean, there's the lady who I take care of that's 101 years old. She has, you know, all these old-fashioned, like, Latvian Christmas decorations on her tree. They've got... literally, they've got candles.
Yeah, that sit up and you put a little candle in it. I've seen those.
You put a candle in it, and I don't even know if you can buy those anymore anywhere. And they only light it for on Christmas Eve. They light those candles for, she said, for like 20 minutes, and that's it. And then they blow them all out, and they're just lit for a little while. They've got one set of white electric lights in there, but I mean, they've got, like back in the day, they used to string cranberries together and use that for the garland, and
we used to do cranberries and popcorn every other one.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Stuff
and the
like
little
that.
kids, the construction paper with the rings, remember? And then you glue a ring around and then do that. Yeah, that's what we did for our tree, and it was fun. We'd sit around together and string the popcorn and talk about stuff that happened during the year, and so it was a good time.
Absolutely, and we've lost that now in today's society with all the
Yeah.
LED lights and all this shit. But there, this lady, she has little angels and little animals, literally made out of straw.
Oh.
And they're beautiful. They're just gorgeous. And they're old. And they're wonderful. And I was taking all kinds of pictures of it yesterday. And just wonderful, wonderful tree. And it's that's how they used to do stuff. They used to sit around for long periods of time and make their decorations.
Yep. And talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still have a box of these. I used to buy these bulbs at the craft store, like for hanging on trees, but they're clear.
Mm-hmm.
And we would paint them. Like if you go to a fish aquarium where they sell fish equipment and stuff, you can get that paint that you brush it on, and then it crystallizes. It gets real pretty. You can buy that at the store, and we used to do that and decorate different bulbs. Everybody would like create their own and then hang them on the tree.
Neat.
Yeah.
Where do you buy that paint?
And it's and you know how aquariums have all those colors that look crystallized in the back of the tanks?
Yeah.
Well, that's just a paint.
Oh.
And you can buy it wherever you buy aquarium supplies.
Oh, right.
And then you brush it on, and as it dries, it crystallizes.
Neato.
Yeah, we used to make get Spagnotta bottles, and then paint them on the outside and make them as candle holders too.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
And we used to make everything. I mean, I still do a lot. I still make a lot of stuff.
People
just don't like going to the store.
Right. Well, I mean, that's wise. I mean, plus it
brought the family together. We would all sit there together and do these things. And it's just like sitting at the table every night for dinner. You may not talk at all, but then other times you talk. And you keep that communication going.
Right.
And if people don't do that anymore, and their kids are so distant from them, it's like they don't even know them anymore.
Right, and they wonder why. They don't understand the reasons behind this. Mm-hmm. And they're just, the kids are just stuck up in their rooms playing their video games. It's, I don't know, we wouldn't allow my stepson to have a TV in his room. We're like, no, it's all going to be out here. If you're going to play video games and do stuff on the computer's out in a central area, TV's out in the central area, we're going to watch what you do, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And like when you're sitting at the dinner table, things come out that aren't planned. And that's so great because when you're just talking, like when I used to do interviews with people, when I used to hire them for work, I would start when they were like in elementary school and then just get them to talking about, and then we moved here and then this and that. And they tell you things they wouldn't normally say if you questioned them.
Right.
And I mean, we had great communications all my daughter's life because of that, I think. We sat down at dinner. Sometimes we wouldn't talk at all. Sometimes we'd sit there an hour after dinner just talking.
Right.
Yeah. Keep that. You can talk about anything if you keep that communication going. But once that stops, then something important comes up, and you have no way you don't know how to deal with it or how to talk with them.
You're right.
And it's sad.
It is. It's really, really, really sad. And then people wonder why they can't even, that they've got unruly kids or they're just secluded, and it's not.
I always hear that
deal.
too. Oh, she was such a good little girl when she was younger, and now I can't even talk to her. Well, whose fault is that?
Well, right. Yesterday, and I kind of wanted to bring this up, actually, because I was thinking about it all day. I was at work, and all the kids were there, and there was a babysitter there, and they were watching, these reruns of, I guess it's called Gilmore Girls. I don't know what it was, but I was just listening to the dialogue of this piece of shit that I was listening to, and it was nonsense, nonsensical. There was no real plot. You know what I mean? Except for like, oh, somebody cheating on someone else. And it was what the dialogue between the characters was. I just kept looking back over at them just staring at it on the TV. It was like the older girl is, I think she's like 9 now, or maybe even 10. And then the babysitter, they were just glued to the TV the whole time. And the little one, who was like, 4, or 5, she's like running around upstairs in her room just doing whatever, unsupervised. She was supposed to be cleaning, but they left her there the entire time. Like, and I was there for like 4 hours, so...
they get mesmerized. It's like they don't even know what they're watching, and they don't hear you unless you actually touch them and go, hey.
Yeah, it was bizarre, and I know, like, the baby was sleeping and all that, but it was just bizarre the way they were just, like, totally...
glued to it.
Yeah, it's strange watching someone watch TV.
Well, me, when I did get rid of my TV, because I caught myself. I would watch my show, and I liked Boston Legal, and I would watch that, but then I caught myself just staring at the TV after the show was off. Mm-hmm. And I go, why am I watching this? I don't like this. I don't want to watch this. Why am I doing this? I caught myself doing that a few times, and I thought, nope, this is not good, and I got rid of the TV.
See, you know what you did there? You essentially watched yourself watch TV.
Yeah, because I had to question. I didn't realize I was doing it, and that bothered me.
And people don't know to do that. Look at how you look sitting there staring at that box. You look dumb. I look dumb. You know what I mean?
Something I don't even care about.
Right, and it just watch yourself. Try and envision yourself watching TV there.
Well, I know when I see other people, when I go visit them and stuff, and the TV's on, I see the same thing. They're sitting there. You go hi, and they don't respond. Mm-hmm.
Or even if, like, in a warm summer's night or whatever, you're going for a walk in the evening, and the sun's down. All you see when you go past these houses is that
glow.
Oh. Yeah, man.
TV or the computer glow.
It's sad.
Uh-huh. I know. When we were kids, we were out until, dark. And then even after it was dark, a lot of the parents would be sitting out on their porches, and the kids would be running up and down the street, playing. Everybody knew each other. Mm-hmm. We used to have block parties or hide-and-seek parties, up until midnight. Parents and adults and kids.
Jeez, man. I'm just, what worries me about the coming new year is that in one freaking second, everything could just change, and all of these memories that we're sharing about how things used to be right now are just going to be just gone.
Yeah, when we talk about the good old days, we really meant the good old days. Not like when our parents said, I walked 3 miles to school in the snow.
Sure. But they always said that, Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. But, man. What do we tell our kids? I mean, we didn't have a cell phone. That wasn't that far back, though.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, every kid that's born, like, after cell phones, they're gone.
My friend was just over, and she was telling me that they got her granddaughter, who is like 5, I think, her own phone. And I went, are you kidding me? And I showed her this video of, everyone should see it, called Look Up, and showing how, like the guy goes in the beginning, he says, I have 423 friends on Facebook, but I'm lonely.
Wow.
And here we are pouring out our hearts to people that we don't even know if they're out there listening.
Right.
But, we don't talk to the person sitting next to us anymore.
Right. Wait a minute. 5 years old, getting them a cell phone?
Mm-hmm.
That is beyond, like...
It's typical anymore.
Fuck what you did. I just
Because
don't
you
get
want
it,
your
man.
child to be able to call you if they need to talk to you, if they're not with you, and
Yeah, but
you know,
5?
yeah,
That just blows my brain.
yeah. And I seen an article somewhere where I seen it this morning where it's saying that smart cell phones are changing our brains.
Yeah, I read a little bit of that. I didn't quite. I just read like the first.
Yeah, I just read the title, but I thought, yeah. I mean, I still refuse. I have the old throwaway phone, and I only turn it on when I'm not home, when I'm gone. I don't leave it on. I don't use it any other time. And all it does is call and receive calls. It doesn't take pictures. It doesn't get on the
Right.
internet. It doesn't do anything.
Well, I've got the old smartphone thingy, and but I got it for the camera and video. That's why I got it.
I just
And
carry my little camera with me that takes videos. My little Nikon fits right in my purse. It's small, and so I just keep that with me all the time.
that takes videos too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it takes real good videos. In fact, I've put some up on YouTube that I've taken with that.
Oh, right on.
But now I have my nice little camcorder. If I can never figure out all the ways of using it. I mean, it even has a projector in it.
Wow.
To where if I take a video and then all I need is a wall, and I can show the video with sound anywhere we are.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice one. Yeah.
What's
So,
the maker
it's
of that?
Well, about 500.
No. What's the make of it?
Oh,
Nikon,
the make
Canon?
it's Sony.
So, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Someone told me once, and I don't know how true this is, so that's why I'm kind of putting out the disclaimer. I had heard recently that Sony is Japanese owned, and I'm not exactly sure that that's true. I mean, it could be.
Go to their website. I think it is
Japanese owned. Okay, someone said, and I'm not going to say who, but someone said that Sony stood for Standard Oil New York.
Huh, I don't know.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Making that up.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's some weird ass shit. It's something that just kind of stuck with me, and it's like,
Yeah. No, I don't think that's what it means.
All right.
I think that's just the name. But I do believe that Sony is or was Japanese owned.
Okay.
But because I know a lot of their stuff, and on their website, when you go there, you have to pick what country you're from, and I just think it is or it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
and then
I
they
don't know.
got Columbia, so I don't know. And why would we be so upset if they hacked Sony if it wasn't an American company, though?
Right. Well, maybe that could mean that there's like a little Korean, Japanese little tit for tat thing going on. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
And then Obama claims it is his problem. So, oh look, he can sign legislation to come type. Absolutely, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, that's true, and they don't.
No, hell, they don't. Did you see there was a officer kills a guy?
Yep, I've seen that. Yep, anything to keep it going. But this time, I guess the guy pulled a gun on the cops, and then I can understand it. Somebody pull a gun on me and point it at me, I'm going to shoot.
And I expect a cop to do the same damn thing.
Right. So, but who knows what's going to happen now? They're going to make a big deal out of anything that happens anywhere near Ferguson.
Especially if it's a white cop and a black. I mean,
right.
People are going to just be like, I don't know. People are going to be protesting to let the criminals out of prisons next. I don't know. The way this crap is going, it's just retarded.
Yeah. Who knows? Next year is going to be a very interesting year.
I'm going to go ahead and call it the year of the false flag. Like there hasn't been so many false flags this year already. Oh, and last year too.
It's like everyday occurrences anymore. Anytime they want an agenda push, there's a false flag to get it on its way.
Absolutely.
I passed you that article. You want to read it? Because uh, my browser keeps flickering on me, and so I can't really read anything.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Hang on. It's blacklisted news, and I'm not sure if I trust them too much.
Really, I think I find that I can usually verify this, but this is just a comparison from
just somebody's
30 years after 1984, a year in review. So it's just a comparison to the novel as to what's going on.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to bust this move. Hold it.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Oh, man, that failed too. Son of a bee. Oh, well, that blows. Hold on. Go ahead and say something.
Okay. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm sure. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. It won't connect. Anyway, what she's going to read is the comparison from the novel 1984, how it correlates with what is happening, now, but as to specifics, like endless war and the surveillance and everything, and how what was he, a fortune teller, that it would go so right along with it, like if he had a fortune teller's crystal ball, that he could just see what was going to happen. Because it fascinates me as to how much like the book we're living. So I don't know.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, because I can't read it. It's flickering on me really bad.
Oh,
Ever since that last update that they did without my permission.
I know, and now I can't connect Jules because Skype did this update. That's exactly what I was just typing to her. It just updated on me, and because when I went to restart my computer, it was suddenly different, and now I can't connect Jules to it. I was able to connect you. Now, how was I able to connect you and not her?
I don't know. Skype has been really weird with me for a long time.
Oh my god, I can't deal with this. It was working like the last time.
Yeah.
And now, like, when she answers or whatever,
it hangs up.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens to me. Even, like, my friend, she told me to call her on Skype, and I call, and it never even rings on her end. But on my end, it just hangs up. It says lost connection.
This is bullshit.
But yet she can call me. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. Ever since Microsoft bought it, it's just...
Jules is trying to connect here, guys, but it's not working.
And you can't call her either, huh?
And didn't I brought JJ in yesterday.
Yeah.
That worked. So what the hell's going on here?
Huh. Who
right?
knows? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, she said, same problem, different account even. I wonder if it could be her connection.
No, she says it's on my end.
Huh, that's weird, because you called me, fine.
Yeah, I did. Oh, how stupid. Just bums me out.
I don't know.
Bums me out. Alright. So, this blacklisted news, I don't know. I don't know if it's... I'm not sure.
About what?
About blacklisted news.
It's not like it's something, that needs to be verified and stuff. It's just
it's someone's opinion. Right.
No, it's a comparison.
Oh, okay.
To the book and to what we're living.
All right. It says, all right, hold on. I'm still trying to do this here. Sorry, guys. All right, well, let's see. It says 30 years after 1984, year in review. It says, okay, 1984 was published in 1949, but let's put aside that technicality for a moment and focus on the last couple of years of current events and how eerily similar they have been in events to the events in George Orwell's dystopian novel. Orwell, among other prominent science fiction dystopian architects, has experienced uncanny success in predicting technological revolutions. There is no doubt that the world we live in today resembles a bad parody of one of these types of dystopian novels, Endless War. Does anyone remember when the United States was going to invade Syria in late 2013, early 2014, the country's dictator has been accused of gassing its own citizens. So once again, the American people were entrenched in a war in a country halfway across the world that had absolutely nothing to do with them. Now, late in 2014, the White House is urging everyone to pour their hatred into ISIS. One of the 3 or more combatants currently engaged in the latest wave of the Syrian civil war. To answer the question previously asked, it would have to be no. No one seems to remember that we have switched sides, but that is not to say this is not a common occurrence. Superpowers such as the United States throughout history have actively supported one side in a war while at the same time funded the other. And they do this constantly, guys. Do you think it says, do you think this is something Big Brother wants you to remember? I would say no. The United States has practiced this old Machiavellian trick for so long they have implemented it on an international scale. The rule's genius is in its simplicity. If you have 2 enemies, let them kill each other. Absolutely. It would only make sense that the prolonged conflict is the key to victory and perpetual destabilization is the mission objective. Absolutely. Revisionist history. It says a recent article from the New York Times claimed that there were indeed weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and asserted that George Bush was correct in invading Iraq. Yeah, now he's in the freaking hospital. This article has unleashed a new wave in the propaganda war between right-wing and left-wing media outlets, both criticizing each other more than doing any real examination of the facts. WMDs or not, the issue itself is not as important as the cause, which, simply put, is the mainstream media dictates the world's reality by telling the public that there actually were WMDs in Iraq. Contrary to previous popular belief, the media is actively playing a role in history by altering what was previously believed to be true. Yes, we know this. Media control is the next category here. Revising history is not the only role the media plays. No, it is capable of much more sinister disruption. The major corporations that control the flow of information are working hard to ensure that the average citizen stays not only uneducated, but unaware of the more important issues. In other words, the media serves to distract the public by incessantly placing irrelevant topics into the sphere of debate and purposely hiding news about the issues that a democratic and vigilant group of people should be concerned about. A recent example of this would be the attention given to the North Korean cyber attack on Sony and its subsequent decision to pull its new movie, The Interview, from its intended release this Christmas. Not to diminish the importance of cyber attacks, which are a threat to national security, but that is the story for another day. This news about the interview has clogged up the mainstream media outlets so that it seems as if it is all they can discuss. It has clogged up the outlets so much that it has no room left for issues of equal or more importance, such as like the Ebola numbers they're hiding.
Or and thing with Russia and
sure,
absolutely.
One issue specifically would be the release of the CIA torture report. Yes, that too. This document, which focuses on the torture techniques implemented by the CIA to extract information from war prisoners, examines the specific torture techniques, effectiveness in extracting information that led to the death of Osama bin Laden. Yeah, right. The document concludes that the torture administered by the CIA was ineffective in gathering information. Let's see. The details on the torture itself are pretty horrific and include such delights as rectal hydration, which is exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, that's not cool. It also discusses how prisoners are committing suicide because the conditions were unbearable. A document as revealing as this does not come around often. But when it does, it should unleash a fury of debate on our government's treatment of prisoners and the ethics of torture. But wait a minute, didn't Judge Alito call it pressure, not torture? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Alito guy. Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it seems as if people care more about watching a movie about assassinating the North Korean leader than to think about something as disturbing as the CIA torture report. Perhaps people would care more about the torture report as if it was discussed more in the media, but they do not. And this is just another example of how media has effectively trained its adherents' mind to think about exactly what they want them to think about and nothing else. 30 years after 1984, and Orwell seems to have hit the nail right on the head. Endless war, revisionist history, and media control have increasingly become prevalent in today's society. And the worst part is, no one seems to care. And that is the end of that.
Yeah, I read that book. I've read it a few times, and the correlation is just amazing. How they change the news. They take words out, and they change words, and they change history, really, and no one seems to catch on, and the wars, endless wars, like we're at war with ISIS. No, we supplied, we were on ISIS's side.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, and we were in war in Iraq. Then we were at war in Syria. Then we weren't in war in Syria. We were back at war with Iraq. And people just don't even know. You ask most people, who are we at war with now? Oh, I don't know. Some country over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been in Afghanistan longer than any
all
other
along,
history. I mean, what's the deal with that crap?
Yeah, and if we're pulling out, why are we sending more troops over there?
Right.
And nobody can get the exact amount of troops that we are sending over there. But, we got to protect our interests in the poppy fields.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to let that go anytime soon. I'll tell you that right now. They're just going to keep bombing stuff, keep running around. I don't know. It makes me want to puke, dude.
Yeah, it does. It just, yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey, how did you get in here?
I plugged my headphones in.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It apparently won't dial because there's no speakers connected to that machine. I just use it for calling because it's like a 12-year-old machine. So it's about all it does. But I didn't have my headphones plugged in and apparently won't dial if you don't have some audio source plugged in.
Wow.
That's good.
Wow.
Good, Jules.
How are you? Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, guys. I know. I've been so busy, and I have so much more to do, and my parents are showing up here probably in about 4 hours, so.
Oh, my gosh.
Well,
yeah. You here?
What was that?
You don't have to be here if you don't want to.
Well, I have days of news I wanted to at least mention.
Go for it.
And I have to figure out what we're doing for tomorrow for everybody. I could tell you one show out of how many told me, oh, yeah, can you run this show for tomorrow? So I'm assuming everyone else is planning on being here. Otherwise, it'll be just like last year, very last minute. While I'm eating my Christmas dinner, I start getting emails going, hey, guess what? I'm not going to be able to be on tonight, so you got to go sit out in that stinky office while your family and everyone's here and cut a show so you can run it for me tonight.
Well, can't you just play replays for us? Because I'm not going to be here.
Well, I'm going to have to find something, dig through all the archives, and figure out what we want to listen to. I typically don't pick random any show. I typically pick a show that I thought had good content and wasn't dated, right?
Right.
Like the one I ran yesterday, because there was another show 3 weeks now, and it ended up being about the Ebola. I was like, oops. That was only because I received notification 2 minutes before air.
Oh, jeez.
So, whatever. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I'll have to figure it out when I...
Dang. Are you going to go on midnight with your pops again?
Who knows? I haven't talked to my father in months, so...
right.
Today should be very interesting. You guys were talking about, we don't even know who we're at war with. Well, I don't think we're at war with anyone, are we?
Well,
there's no declared war.
Right.
And the reason why they're there, you want to know why you're there? You think it's the poppies? No, I think it's actually more than the poppies. It's the whole military-industrial complex that is fueling where everyone's getting rich. And the stock market just hit 18,000.
I've seen that.
And I posted a story yesterday. They come out, all the MSM, U.S. Q3 2014 economy grows at the quickest pace in 11 years.
I see that too.
What?
And you just go, what the hell?
What?
You can see the big pump, the tire pump, inflating the economy.
They're like, oh, and it's all you consumer shoppers that have boosted the economy into its best that we've done in 11 years. 11
and
years.
Yeah, we have more
now,
poor.
Well, I'm not even going to say more poor. I'm going to tell you what. 11 years ago, money was still falling from the sky. So you are not going to freaking tell me that our economy is as good as it was 11 years ago. Absolutely. I don't need to even look at one freaking number. Not.
Yes.
Money
How
was
can
still...
the economy get better if we're not producing anything?
Well, we're not producing anything, and half my freaking friends don't have jobs that were all technical jobs, okay? So, and what, you're going to see the oil boom cause us to go into Q3 2014, what oil boom? You know what? Guess what? All those towns are closing up shop now.
Yeah, they are.
So, I'm going to call absolute bullshit on that.
Good, me too.
But most Americans will go for whatever they say on the TV.
Right. The headline came out. So no one's going to even read the story like most people don't. They just read the headline and go, oh, all right. Guess what? And then they're going to talk about it when their family comes over to say, hey, did you see that they said the economy, the Q3 is the best it's been in 11 years? Fuck yeah. Let's go spend some more money on after Christmas sales.
Yeah, my mom.
Let's go buy a new car before the end of the year.
Sitting there eating beans and potatoes and saying, oh, the economy's better now. Did you see it on TV?
That's it. My mom's
That's
like,
it.
My mom's like, the talking head said it's going to go to 20,000. I'm like, don't hold your breath. I'm just like going, you've got to be kidding me. You believe this shit? But the Republicans are going to save us.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. They're setting the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I just could not believe that. I could not, and that isn't the first time I've seen shit like that. I think I told you guys the one time about 6 months ago, I get on my phone, ding, I get an incoming message, and I usually don't even read them because I just get so many. I do when I get a second and I can feel like I can deal, But I happen to look and it says CNN breaking news, and I click on it, I'm like, uh-oh, what happened now? Figuring, somebody attacked us or whatever, and it says, the economy is the best it's been in 10 years. No link, no supporting story, nothing except for the headline. So I was like, what kind of, and here's the thing. 90% of and we've said this before, even if they come out and they report something and then there's an update going, our facts were wrong. No one ever hears it. All they hear is whatever the original story was that was put out there, and then they go off and nobody looks into anything. So the economy's the best it's been. All right. And people are just going to believe it. Not that unemployment's at 20% or whatever insane number I saw is the real number. Not the one they're putting on paper. You have all those people that dropped off the unemployment rolls. People who aren't collecting anymore. People who said, screw it.
Yeah, they're not even included in the numbers.
No. And people though, if they have a job, they're going to believe anything they say out there. But all the people without jobs know that that's a lie. Well, and again, how can your economy get better if you're not producing anything? It's not logical.
And you got robots about ready to take over every service job out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How is that going to help anything? Unless you work for a robot factory, which guess what? I don't think there's a lot of them here.
No.
They're building them at the universities, and they're probably going to ship them to Japan. I just saw
have the computers building themselves. Even then.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just saw Japan. There, as Japan's economy collapsed after Fukushima, we weren't allowed to talk about Fukushima, so Hillary Clinton got it completely annexed out of the public conversation after it first happened, and now the secrecy law just went into effect in Japan that can put you up into jail up to 10 years, I believe, for talking about things they don't want you to talk about if they consider them quote-unquote national secrets. By the way, they just passed a bill like that in Australia as well. I saw in one of Brandon's stories. So put on a seatbelt, because you guys saw after this latest, what was it? What was the attack or whatever, that now Obama came out and now he's going to work and try and push the former CISPA. Mm-hmm,
yeah, which the is now Sony CISA. Hack.
The Sony hack. Yeah, CISA is what the new one is called, version 2. And that was put on hold, but they're going to try to launch that now with the new Republicans in January. Mm. And you know what? It's going to put a lid on everything. They're going to be able, what we're seeing right now where, for Facebook, I just saw, didn't you see, they just arrested some guy in Massachusetts, in Chicopee, Mass, yesterday, the day before?
Burn that chick's house down.
No, not for that. For posting a comment on Facebook.
Well, this one guy burned a lady's house down because she rejected him on Facebook, and he's in jail
he should be arrested then.
Yeah.
But
for a comment, that's crazy.
Well, for a comment, saying, he repeated what the supposed shooter of the 2 cops in New York had posted on his Facebook, something about flying or whatever. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say it. Yeah, right. Thanks, Zorie. And they arrested him for it.
Jeez.
So all I'm saying is, we.
Go for it.
Yeah. So go ahead. I lost my train of thought now. I don't. Go ahead.
I just said there goes free speech.
Uh-huh.
Comment.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. They're doing it to us, and they're doing it in Australia. They're doing it in Japan. We're next.
ISIS down a jet, I guess. Nice.
Oh, jeez. Didn't hear that.
I don't remember what I was talking about.
Oh, I don't either.
You were talking about the guy getting arrested for repeating that comment.
On Facebook?
Yeah, I didn't even share that story.
Was he from Michigan?
I don't know.
See, I didn't know they had arrested him.
Yeah, Cop Black had something yesterday. One of the things, well, last night I stayed up late writing a story because it's been about 5 days since I've had enough mental capacity to even think about anything besides dealing with all the freaking issues I've had. And I came across something that was pretty interesting about Bill de Blasio that I think I might have mentioned in chat at some point, but I know I haven't mentioned on air. You've seen this whole thing where the NYPD was turning their backs on de Blasio and telling him he wasn't allowed to go to police funerals and things of that nature. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Give him a hard time. And I was like, what are they giving him a hard time about? Well, I don't know. It seems like people in chat weren't aware of this, so I figured I might as well share this with you. So I dug into it because I was like, why, what did de Blasio say that now is making the whole NYPD decide that the mayor of New York, like after, I don't know, they had Bloomy, no one did that to Bloomy, what did he do? And apparently de Blasio had made some comments, which I don't think there's anything wrong, and it actually should be a wake-up call to everyone. I guess and I don't know if he's still married, but at one point he was in a biracial marriage and he has a child from that marriage. And he said in an interview last week, I believe, and guess what, the whole page, like flash. Did you guys notice, like, all these stupid updates they've done everywhere? They've gone in and changed all my configuration settings on all my browsers, by the way.
Yeah, I've totally noticed. They're doing that shit on my phone, too. Yeah,
well, get this. Yesterday, I discover, all of a sudden, I can't get to anywhere on my notebook, and I'm having all these issues. I mean, I got to tell you, I've been never closer to smashing every computer in this house than I have been in this last week. And I can't get, all of a sudden, just for no reason, my computer won't go to any website, and it told me that my proxy server's misconfigured. And I'm like, wait 1 fucking second. I don't have a proxy server. Where did that come? I go in, and I have 2 of my browsers set pointing to proxy servers.
What? That's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, it almost sounded like the time that this computer out here got hacked after we did the 100 words you can't say in public anymore, otherwise you end up on the FBI terrorist watch list. And I hosted the call to the show, and in 2 hours we said every one of the 100 words on the list. And then I got that FBI virus that did something very similar to that. I don't know, it was very odd, but I was able to go in and actually just uncheck funneling me to a proxy server. So what was that about? But I mean, not only that, like my flash settings have changed, and all my security settings have changed on all my browsers.
That's impossible for just
same thing happened to my friend. That proxy thing changed.
Oh my god, it drives me nuts. They're doing it now before they announce it, obviously.
Well, they're making certain they get all the newest spyware on all of the watch targets, I think, is what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's about time. I mean, and here, Skype forced me to do an upgrade, but when I couldn't connect, it forced me to do an upgrade. And then I finished that upgrade, and now Firefox says it needs to do an upgrade. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not.
What was it? It was like, I think it was on Monday. I just refreshed my computer, I turned it off, turned it back on, and then Skype was all different. Completely different.
Oh, yeah,
the whole format.
Yeah, it did it to this machine too. This one's all nice roundy boxes and new, and it had been like original Skype that never had issues very rarely.
Mm-hmm. Ugh, it's driving me nuts, man. I can't imagine what it's totally tripping you out.
I'm beyond throttled. That's all I can say. Yeah, I'm about done. Let's put it that way with all of it. So just be aware. Be aware. Anyway, getting back to Bill de Blasio. So de Blasio was in a biracial marriage, and he had a kid, and he comes out in an interview last week, and they were asking him about the double shooting of the cops in New York, and this is his quotation. or maybe this was even before the shooting, actually. This was when the Garner decision happened. And there have been all the protests. That's what it was. And here's the worst part, is after he said this, there were all these news clips then where the NYPD is trying to blame de Blasio for the double shooting of the cops because of what he said here. Okay?
Wow.
This is why they tried to make it his fault and why they were turning their backs and saying he couldn't come to the funeral. So this is what he says in an interview with George Stephanopoulos. Quote, "What parents have done for decades who have children of color, especially young men of color, is train them to be very careful when they have a connection with a police officer," de Blasio said. That's very true. And that's what they held against him and told him that he was the one responsible for the killing of the cop. Because he told his kid to be careful when dealing with cops. Now, personally, I don't care what color your kid is. I think everyone should be cautioning not just their children, but all their loved ones to be careful when dealing with cops. And in a domestic dispute, don't call them. I mean, I was just reading that story. I posted it a few weeks ago, but it probably happened about a month and a half ago. And I think I might have mentioned it the one day. There was a boyfriend and girlfriend having an argument. And she was getting pretty crazy. Like, who doesn't, right? Ain't she crazy? And he called the cops, and he said that they were having a domestic, and he wanted her removed from the premises. And the cops showed up, and he went to the back of the house into the bedroom. And the next thing he hears is a gunshot, and he comes out, and she's shot right in the head.
Oh.
She's dead. And he's like, I didn't want her dead. I just wanted her removed from my house.
Wow.
So, pretty nutty there. But anyway, back to de Blasio. Like, who wouldn't teach caution, especially with, you look at just this story. I can't wait for the Cleveland ruling. That was going up in front of a grand jury. The parents in Cleveland were saying that it shouldn't even because they thought that it was more than enough evidence. I know when I looked at everything, I don't know. To me, it looked like he was too trigger happy. He just flew out. And I think the 911 operator should be held partially responsible as well. Mm-hmm. We just saw now, too, there's this new shooting in Missouri that they're not going to hold the cop accountable for. It was the homeless guy that then escalated, and he grabbed the cop's baton as the cop tried to, I don't know if he tried to wake him up or if he tried to get him to move, but I think he was schizophrenic, and he wasn't on his meds, his parents said. And he grabbed the cop's baton and started hitting the cop with it, and the cop shot him 14 or 17 times. And they just found the cop not guilty.
Man.
I mean, my thing is, we don't need to be killing people at all. I mean, in this case that just happened in Ferguson last night, I don't know if you saw that. The guy the new one that got shot. I just watched an HD security cam video that was just released. I think it just went up onto the Pigmine channel. And I will tell you what, the dude that shot the cop literally, they went and had a discussion, and then he pulled something out and shot. So there was no case against the police there. That dude, I hope they catch him. I don't know if they did. I mean, that was in cold blood. He did that.
Yeah. There's lots of. There was one in Florida too.
Yeah, there was the one in Florida also.
Yeah.
So anyway, last night I stayed up late and I did a story because, and we'll have to see here if I can manage to. Oh, I can't. I was like, you connected me already. Maybe. Yeah. All right. I did a story last night. There was a video that talked about how the NYPD, I guess the comptroller's office, just released some budget numbers. And there have been some budget numbers from a few years before that I had seen, so I compiled a bunch of numbers. And it was just unbelievable. NYPD was sued an average of 10 times a day.
Whoa.
In 2013.
My God,
a day over police brutality or police claims. There were claims and lawsuits that were filed against New York.
Holy crap.
All right. So I did a story titled NYPD was sued an average of 10 times a day in 2013, inspiring the ClaimStat online app to track claims. I was really excited when I found that ClaimStat last night. Data released by New York City's Comptroller's Office is showing some disturbing trends in claims and payouts against the NYPD, according to the City of New York of the Comptroller's Claims Report for fiscal year 2012. The city paid $186.3 million in tort claims involving the NYPD in 2011, $152 million in 2012, $137 million in 2013, with an average of 10 lawsuits per day, according to RT, and $674 million slated for 2015 to cover the cost of more suits, which averages out to be about $80 per New York City resident. Tell me if that is not crazy.
That is.
$80 a resident to cover police wrongdoing suits. To help rein in the cost, City Comptroller Scott M. Stringer, newly elected in 2014, has shaken up the establishment a bit by launching a real-time claim mapping application called ClaimStat, an online app that provides some shocking transparency by using map location and detailed data of claims filed against some of the most costly and worst offending departments under his financial control, NYPD being at the top of the list. Stringer states ClaimStat can be used as an, quote, early warning system, unquote, to help identify where police behavior is costing the city in lawsuits and settlements. Stringer was quoted on MSNBC as saying, quote, "We do not need to accept the premise that claims and settlements have to go up year after year. We don't have to accept that violent confrontations between police and the community are an inevitable part of policing," unquote. After all of the grand juries, trials, protests, and complaints, seems they don't start really paying attention until it hits them where it really hurts, the pocketbook. And didn't we say that?
Absolutely.
Hey, you know what? When it starts to really cost you, somebody will start paying attention. Well, blessed are the bean counters. That's actually almost what I titled the story, but I didn't.
You should have. That was
Blessed
funny.
are the bean counters. In RT's description for the video below, it states, quote, according to data released from the New York City Comptroller's Office, the NYPD was sued an average of 10 times a day in 2013. What's more, the claims cost the city about $137 million. The Comptroller set aside $674 million for 2015 to cover costs of more suits against the city. And in a story from 2012, RT also shares a staggering statistic that between 2000 and 2010, New York City paid out almost $6 billion with a B dollars in settlements against the NYPD. Billion.
Wow.
Billion. Those massive claims and unsustainable budget numbers inspired Stringer to use data intelligence to pinpoint problem areas which were costing the city precious resources. And if you want, we can then listen to this little video.
Except I have to bring you in, right?
No, I'm in.
Oh, you're already there. Good.
Yep. All right, hold on. Hey, all right, I gotta skip her music. I just hate that music. All right, here we go.
The quantitative data block that crunches New York City's open data portal, which contained the data released by the city itself. The blog's called I Quant New York, a play on I Love New York, and it just did some crunching, which shows that last year was a rough one for the NYPD, because it just crunched the numbers from the comptroller's ClaimStat figures and found that the NYPD was sued an average of 10 times a day last year. 10 a day! The largest number came out of the Bronx, the hectic borough north of Manhattan. The data crunching showed that Bronx residents filed more than twice as much as those in hipster Brooklyn, and more than 6 times than those in Staten Island. The borough with the fewest lawsuits filed was, you guessed it, the rich borough of Manhattan. The Bronx neighborhood of Longwood had the highest rate of suing to 5-0, with 2.79 lawsuits being filed for every 1,000 residents. It's worth taking a look at Staten Island more specifically, too, since that was the site of Eric Garner's tragic death. And guess what? The vast majority of lawsuits against the NYPD on Staten Island were filed right around where he died. And according to iQuant New York, there are more crimes reported in the neighborhoods with all the lawsuits, meaning there are more police interactions in those neighborhoods, which inevitably means more lawsuits. And according to data from New York City Comptroller Scott Stringer's office, all of those lawsuits didn't come cheap. One of their reports revealed that all those complaints against the NYPD last year cost the city a whopping $137 million. The report also shows that complaints against the NYPD have risen 71% over the past decade. Most of the claims are for police misconduct, civil rights violations, and injury and damage from accidents involving police vehicles. The report says that the comptroller's 2015 budget has set aside $674 million to pay out settlements and judgments from lawsuits against the city, which comes to about $80 per New York City resident. And they project that to rise to $782 million by 2018, which is more than the budget for a whole bunch of other city departments combined. And that's all set aside to go to settle lawsuits that largely happen in New York City's outer boroughs where the poor people live. So I have an idea. Why doesn't the city just fork over the cash to its poor neighborhoods now and save everyone the time and trouble? And hey, it might just save a few lives, too. Tonight, let's talk about that.
And there you go. So what do you think about that? 71%. In the last 10 years it went up. And it's just going to keep going up. And you can't blame them. I mean, 2014 and the guy's technical. So, hey! So I find... All right, anyways, so I'm going to finish this. According to the Comptroller's ClaimStat website, its purpose is for, quote, protecting citizens and saving taxpayer dollars, unquote. And currently, ClaimStat is not only mapping personal injury police action claims, that's what they call that map, but also, quote, tree-related claims, sanitation vehicle property damage claims, sewer overflow claims, correctional facility claims, and that's something that if I get some time over the next couple days, I have another story that's about ready to come out, and pedestrian personal injury claims with more departments to be added in the future. Stringer told the New York Post, quote, I want to break this trend using data, changing policies, and reducing claims against the city, unquote. So it seems, for all the reports, the videos, and the complaints, it ends up being a punch in the pocketbook and the bean counters paying attention that may make a difference. Don't. That's awesome. And I linked to the app, and if you see how many spots are on this map for claims against the NYPD, you would shit yourself. I'm going to drop it.
Responsible for sewage overflow.
Well, because the sewer lines are not yours; they're the city's.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a sewer blockage, I mean, you're only responsible up to where the water connects to your house.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay.
But yeah, those were the top departments where he looked at the numbers and they were costing way too much money. So those are the first departments that he put online. I just dropped that into chat. If anybody wants to check that out, go to theantimedia.org, and I think it's the top story. I mean, I pushed it at like 3 a.m. So it should be, and I even did a custom graphic that's pretty cool.
Boy, could you imagine bringing up police liability insurance to the New York City Police Benevolent Association? They'd probably have you hanged on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
They probably would. So, I don't know. There are so many more stories that are very similar to that, just looking at all the different pieces of the puzzle. I mean, go nationwide and look at it. It's horrifying. I know Zorie was supposed to be working on getting some numbers together for, I don't remember what. Remember we were going to do a research project?
Yeah, it's on. I'm still working on it. I'm getting how much forfeiture has been.
Oh yeah,
On all of them, and it's hard. You can't hardly get any data from different police departments, and it's all voluntary.
Someone had dropped us a link that had the whole country listed. Every
Yeah, from 2012, I think it was, and I haven't been able. I've been trying to go like state by state, but it's all voluntary. So if a department doesn't want to send in their stats, they don't.
Right.
Or no, it was police killing citizens.
That was for police, not for forfeitures.
Yeah, not for
I thought there was an entire website that had. Brandon sent it to me, actually.
Right, there is, but the thing is, you can't really go by it because only the departments that feel like it give their data, and then they don't even break it down as to what happened. Were they armed or were they not armed? And a lot of states and cities just don't even send in their stats
for killings.
Right, for killings of citizens. Now, killing cops.
Right, yeah, forfeitures I'm talking about. Forfeitures.
The forfeitures? Yeah, that's also voluntary. In fact, a lot of places don't even really keep real records of it, of where the money goes or anything. Like one officer said, well, it's for like toys that we couldn't get before.
Somebody had, there was a database of national forfeiture amounts somewhere.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. But a lot of them don't even, it's cash coming in and they don't really keep good records of it.
Well, it's interesting because the New York Police Department should be keeping records. Maybe they can use the forfeitures to pay out the lawsuits. Maybe that's what they are doing.
That's then still the people are paying for it, not them.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
The people are paying for it either way, whether it's a forfeiture or it's out of taxes. Isn't that the same thing? Exactly. Taxes are forfeitures.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Well, yeah, that's the only way the government could get money. They don't produce anything.
They should. They should all go work in Chinese sweatshops.
I agree. Yeah, they should only be in Washington when they have meetings and then go back home and go to work. Where in their regular jobs is how it should be.
All I want for Christmas is a Chinese sweatshop.
Yeah.
Jeez. The world is all messed up. I'll tell you that right now.
Everything's upside down. And do you think we can turn it right side up again? I think it's too far gone.
Yeah, we were saying that yesterday. JJ was on with us yesterday.
Oh, cool.
It was
Merry Christmas, JJ.
It was a really good conversation. We had a great show yesterday, actually. So.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Merry Christmas to all the chatters, too.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Jules is like, no. Can't wait till it's over.
Just means more. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 12 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw Arizona issue driver's licenses to illegal, so Merry Christmas to you.
Jeez. I didn't see that.
I also saw China was pledging to help Russia overcome their economic hardships, so that should work out well, I'm sure.
Yeah. They're on the same continent, so it just makes sense.
Okay, well, go ahead. I'm done.
Oh, all right. I thought you had a bunch of news.
I did, but I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't know. Aren't China and Russia they're forming their own Federal Reserve, aren't they? With the BRICS.
Well, BRICS is.
Yeah. So they're together they are becoming independent of the dollar. And that's a dangerous thing, too. For the dollar, that is. Not dangerous for them.
Yep.
I don't know, dude.
That's unless you want to have a full financial conversation, I probably won't even touch that.
Yeah. Well, we see where all this is going, and it's all too obvious. They're gonna get better, and we're not. That's where it's going. That's exactly what's going on here. I don't know. Go ahead, guys. I'm kind of dumb today.
I see the stock market hitting 18,000, and we're just sitting here going, "Yay! The world is so great! Look at all the money we're making! Holy shit!" Is the entire bottom is dropping out right now? I mean, everyone's going, "Oh, look at how awesome it is! Gas prices are cheap again." No, that's not awesome. By the way, hate to tell you that it's not awesome. It's fucking us. And it's gonna. You just wait and see. You wait and see.
I think next year is going to bring hell down. That's what I think.
Well, by gas prices getting cheaper, that just took the bottom out of everything. So all those jobs, that whole fake economy that was built around fracking, all the real estate market and everything that's going on down south right now is going to come to an abrupt halt if it hasn't already.
Wow.
And as soon as that happens, guess what? All these guys that have been working on the oil wells have brand new cars and new houses and spent all this money. And I saw entry level for a fracking job was like $90K.
Whoa.
So as they all dry up, what do you think that's going to do? I mean, all the areas that don't seem to be affected right now, and that's everywhere where they've completely ruined the water table, dumping Southern California included, there's going to be some big issues. And Cuomo came out about a week ago and said that New York had banned fracking.
Right.
Well, that fight's been going on for 5, 6, 7 years, and the only reason that he banned fracking, and I talked about this the other day, is because New York is a big, money-hungering, bloated, blusterous state. And when they all of a sudden, and he was salivating as he's looking at dollar signs falling from the sky. Well, guess what? There's no more dollar signs falling from the sky as he decides that, no, we won't have fracking in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. I didn't make that connection, but that's a good connection.
Yeah, convenient.
Very. Absolutely.
So go ahead. I don't know. I mean, you guys talk. I have so much to do, and my family's coming, and I have a kid upstairs who's waiting for me very patiently. And it's Christmas Eve, so
Merry
go
Christmas,
for it.
Jules.
Yeah, thank you. Merry
All
Christmas to you guys.
You're going to bail out?
I have to. I got too much to do, and I still need to clean, and I need to shower, and I need to clean the dining room, get all the garbage off the table, change all the sheets.
Right on.
You need a maid.
Yeah, well, that would be nice, and a job. So, all right. Well, I don't know. I have tons more. I don't know what I'm going to do for tomorrow. I'm sure I have probably 8 shows to cut at some point, so maybe I'll get Pops to record a show while I'm cutting everyone else's shows.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Well, Merry Christmas, Jules. Try and take it easy if you can. I mean, I know it's hard to do that with family and cutting shows and all that, man. I mean, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, and then everyone complaining about it. So I don't want to see any complaints in chat if there's 3 broads, okay?
Right.
Because I always do, and hey, I have no control, and everyone does this for free, so what am I going to do if someone doesn't want to do a show, or they tell me they're not feeling well, or
right?
They tell me their life fell apart, or their kid's in jail, or whatever, this is the department of, I feel like, I don't know, whatever, I can't do anything about it.
Well, it's Christmas, you got to expect rebroads, I mean, come on.
But, anyway. So go ahead.
All right. Well, take it easy.
All right, you too.
Okay.
And I'll figure something for tomorrow, even if it's punk rock Christmas in the morning.
Oh my God, that'd be
There
cool.
you go.
That'd be sweet. All right, take care, Jules.
All right, guys, have fun.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
I was looking at this one ad here. ADHD drugs increasingly prescribed to treat hyperactivity in preschoolers. And you know, that still gets me. It just irritates the hell out of me how a doctor can diagnose like a 3-year-old with bipolar or you know, hyperactivity. They're supposed to be active. They're supposed to be hyper.
Right.
That's why they call them the terrible twos.
Exactly.
But now they have to be drugged.
It's heinous.
It's just worse than that. And then I was watching some statistics on vaccines, and the number of children, of babies and stuff, they get 67 shots by the time they're going to school. And
Jeez.
every time one gets their boosters or whatever, you hear about all these deaths or autism or some horrible thing, and they still say, oh, it's not the vaccine.
Right, and it's all safe.
And you just ask your doctor what's in the vaccines. They don't want to tell you. And a lot of them don't even know, but they push them.
Yeah, well, exactly. People
You know,
don't know to look at the insert.
And what kind of parent, I don't care how much you trust your doctor, if there's controversy about something, I'm going to read both sides before I subject my child to anything.
Sure, absolutely.
But
most parents do. Well, actually, I take that back. Most parents don't.
Most parents will do what the doctor says. You tell the
Right.
doctor, oh, I'm not going to vaccinate, and then he'll treat you like you're a bad parent or what's wrong with you, don't you, you know, like you're dumb or something, and talks you into getting the shot,
Right.
giving their child. I mean, look, in the hospital, they give the baby, infants, a shot for hepatitis hours after they're born. What is the reasoning behind that?
Oh, I know. I have no idea. It's if the mother doesn't have freaking hepatitis, the baby being born is not going to have hepatitis. What the
Right.
hell are you people doing?
I know, and that's why they'd want all babies born in a hospital. Like in most states, it's against the law to have your baby at home. There's very few out there now that you can have your baby at home. And they want that child registered for the taxes because they use them for collateral.
Sure. Well, it's this whole straw man thing, which we won't get into. I mean,
No, that would take too long. But still,
not gonna do.
yeah. It blew my mind when I found out that whenever you register anything, you're giving ownership to them. So like when you buy a printer or something like that and you go in and register it, you're giving it back to them.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them control of it. And I haven't registered another thing since that day.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, you know, I just never thought of it that way. And it's true, because like when you register it, then they will help you, and they'll, you know, if it's not working, you can send it back and we'll send you a new one because they own it. And we're
Sure.
just using it.
That's right.
So in reality, we're renting our children.
Yeah, for the most part. That's what well, you know, children belong to the state. That's what they want everybody to accept, that frame of mind.
Yeah. You know, and that really came out in this one article where they came and took this lady's children away, CPS, okay, from a complaint. And she had 3 children, and 2 of them had birth certificates. The third one she had at home and never did register for a birth certificate. She just put it in the family Bible. 3 days later, they returned the one that did not have a birth certificate because they didn't have ownership of it.
Jeez. That's typical.
And that's why CPS can do it so easily, come in and take your child, because your child belongs to the state.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity. You tell that to most people and they'd look at you like you just, you know, flipped your lid completely.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's what, I mean, they operate that way too. I mean, they'll go in on, you know, the idea of a dirty dish in the freaking sink, you know what I mean?
And they don't have to have warrants.
No, they don't have to have warrants.
or anything doing with law or judges or anything. They can just go in and they say, well, this isn't a safe environment, and take that child. I don't care for any. They don't even have to have a reason.
No, they don't. They could just have some complaint by someone else.
That's usually it, and it's usually anonymous, or we can't tell you who called in.
Right.
And, I mean, just think, you made somebody mad down the street, and they call CPS and make a bunch of lies and come take your child. You don't know why. And then it's almost impossible to get them back. And then by the time you do get them back, they put them on drugs.
And they've probably been raped.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend that deals with kids that grew up in the system and are ready to either go out in the world or go into a mental hospital. And he said, I mean, he has told me some hellacious stories about these kids when they get them. You know, I mean, one guy was on 21 drugs a day. He sat in a corner and sucked his thumb, and he was 19 years old.
Yeah, they need our young people to either be off in the military or drooling in a corner.
Mm-hmm. And you know, now these, where was that? I read it. These children that are being experimented on. Like they put out there, we need children between the ages of 11 and 16 for these studies. And people actually take their children in and we're using humans to test these chemicals on them.
Sure, because the parents get paid pretty good for that.
Can you imagine having your child go in there and you don't know what they're going to be subjected to just for some money?
And then you sure as hell can't be in there while the procedure's going on either. They make your ass wait outside while they do whatever to your kid. I mean, sure, absolutely.
And a lot of them, remember that article? I don't remember which documentary it was in. I think it was Drugging Our Kids. But they would tempt them with video games and all this stuff. They could go in there and play, and they just took the, experimental drug while they were playing or whatever, and they gave them Xboxes, all kinds of stuff. And then the guy goes, well, what's important is the children. We do this because we love the children. And I wanted to barf.
Oh, my God. It is. It's always for the children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And then Sweden just got busted for using children in experimental drugs. It's just...
Sweden did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just read it over the weekend. I didn't read all the particulars about it, but it said that children were being used. They got in trouble for it. I can probably find it. But if you wrote in Sweden... experimental drugs on children, it would bring it up, I'm sure, because it was a pretty big article. Wow. But, I think only us, but I mean, we're not the only ones.
Right. That's right.
And there's no proof that vaccines do any good. You have to get a shot every year because your body doesn't build antibodies from it.
Well, they just came out and announced that this year's flu shot isn't going to control the whole... Yeah, it's not going to be effective whatsoever. It's not even in the freaking spectrum of what's going on out there right now.
Well, right. There's so many different kinds of flus, and they just draw like straws to figure out which one they're going to vaccinate everyone against, and hopefully that's the one that, comes out. But listen, if you have the flu once, you're not going to get it again. You don't have to have no shots. People that get the shot and then a lot of them get sick afterwards. They get the flu after the shot, and what's their excuse? Well, you were probably coming down with it anyway.
I know a lot of people who've been just sick like over and over though. I mean, they just keep getting sick and they keep getting sick, and I mean their kids are, bringing it home to them, and they just keep getting sick. It's your like
immune system.
Well, terrible vicious pattern.
Look at what mercury does to a cell. If you've ever watched it in science in school, it just kills a cell. It makes it shrivel up to nothing. And I don't care how minute of an amount it's in there, but you figured they give them like 15 shots at once a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
And each one is a full shot. So they're getting all this mercury for, next time a doctor wants to give your child a vaccine, say, you do it first and let me watch your reaction. Then I'll think about it.
Right.
Because so many babies, like, the next day. I remember I got my daughter a couple shots and I stopped because every time they give her a shot, she would get sick the next day and run a fever and all this. And I got, why would I want to go do that to my child so she'll be sick? And because they never could answer me, why is my daughter running a fever after she gets that shot?
Right.
You know, most people just accept that's what happened. Oh, she got her shot yesterday, so she's running a fever and cranky. Well, that's not normal, people.
No, it's
You know,
not normal at all. Absolutely.
I mean, there's some horror stories where the kid was running and playing with their sister and all this, and then they got their shot, and the next day they don't talk, they don't respond, they don't play with their brothers or sisters, and they say it's still not related to the vaccine.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we know it is.
Yeah, how do you get it through? But they don't, they don't report that on the news. And so the ones that only listen to the news or stuff like that don't really look into anything, they are blindly following what their doctors say. Most doctors don't get their own kids vaccinated.
Right. Well, here's a, oh man, it might be just a, maybe I'll read this here. It says, nurse blows whistle on doctors giving chemotherapy to non-cancerous patients for profit.
Oh,
and the
God.
state medical board does nothing. So
they're giving them chemo?
Yeah, here we go. This is actually from Michigan. So it says Dr. Farid Fatah, a prominent cancer doctor in Michigan, admitted in court to intentionally and wrongfully diagnosing healthy people with cancer. Fatah also admitted to giving them chemotherapy drugs for the purpose of making a profit. The cancer doctor's guilty plea shocked many in the courtroom, according to the Detroit Free Press. Fatah owned Michigan Hematology Oncology, which had multiple offices through the Detroit suburbs. Fatah's reach included offices in Clarkston, Bloomfield Hills, Lapeer, Sterling Heights, Troy, Oak Park, and Oak Park, Michigan. The doctor stated his plea in the absence of a plea deal and with tearful eyes, according to CBS News. It is my choice, Fatah said on Tuesday, of his guilty plea. In the Detroit courtroom, the cancer doctor named numerous dangerous drugs that he prescribed to his patients. With each admittance, he stated, I knew that it was medically unnecessary.
How many people died from that?
Boy. A few. Let me finish reading, I guess. Here we go. One of my favorite people. I can't stand this woman. U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuaid, Barbie, good old Barbie, will seek life in prison for what she called the most egregious healthcare fraud case she has ever seen. McQuaid said that in addition to insurance fraud, which involved a $35 million Medicare fraud scheme from 2009 to the present, Fatah also harmed and in some case subsequently killed his patients with dangerous chemotherapy drugs that they did not need. According to government records, Fatah's medical practice included 1,200 patients. The formerly prominent doctor will be sentenced in February before U.S. District Judge Paul Broman. The doctor's bond is set at $9 million. I'm numb, Angela Swaintek, chemotherapy nurse and whistleblower of the cancer treatment doctor, told reporters. I'm not surprised, though. I wondered how his team was going to defend him. The charts don't lie. I left after an hour and a half and I thought this was insane, Swaintek said about her short time in Fatah's office in 2010, where she noticed patients receiving chemotherapy incorrectly. She wrote a letter to the state suggesting an investigation that day. In 2011, the state informed her they found no proof of wrongdoing at Fatah's office. I handed them Dr. Fatah on a platter in 2010, and they did absolutely nothing,
Wow.
Switek said, adding she was relieved when he was charged 2 years later. I started crying. I thought about all the patients that he took care of and harmed.
And after she reported him, all the people that got harmed or died.
Right. And let's see if it says any numbers in here. Let's see. He's 49.
Didn't it say he had 12,000 patients or something like that?
Yeah, he had 12,000 patients. I'm not sure how many out of those 12,000 died. I'm looking that up right now because it's.
Well, you know what? Chances are the ones that got chemo, and if they were healthy, they had a better chance of living than the ones that they really treated chemo with.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Exactly.
But still, God.
Yeah.
And what? For greed, for money.
Yeah, it's makes me sick. These docs. I mean, not all docs are bad, but you know.
But the way they're taught in school now, it's not to cure.
Mm-hmm.
It's to sustain.
Right.
Yeah, we had 2 doctors here up in Reading. That Dr. Moon, very respected doctor, and Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez was an excellent surgeon. I mean, he developed techniques that saved lives and everything. Well, these 2 doctors, and Dr. Moon was a heart doctor, they performed surgery on thousands of patients that did not need it. In fact, one of my best friends, her mom, they said she had to have stents in her heart, and she had to have them right away or she would die. And she went in and she had them, and it came out, this one guy, they said he needed stents. He wasn't from here, but they said, you need the surgery right now, before tomorrow. And he refused and went home and found out that he did not need stents at all. And then it started an investigation, and they had to pay out millions. And you know what? Neither one of those doctors ever went to jail.
Oh, my God.
And, I mean, who knows how many patients died. And like my friend, she didn't need the stents. That was open, you know, and they did open heart surgery on people that did not need it. And they never went to jail.
Yeah, nothing ever happens to him.
He still lives in the town up there, Reading, Dr. Moon.
There is somebody that was at the U of M, and he had a metal stent put in his heart, and then, you know, he came back for a checkup or whatever, and they said, okay, well, send him down to MRI, and then he can go home after that. Well, that metal stent came ripping out of his heart, and he died right there on the MRI table.
Oh, my
God. His doctor sent him right down to the MRI and said he could go home. Nobody caught it. Nobody caught the fact, and the doctor didn't catch the fact that he had just put a metal stent in this guy. He sent him to MRI? Really? So that was a healthy lawsuit, I would imagine.
Well, my friend, he went in, and because he fell, and they took x-rays and stuff of him and sent him home. Said, okay, you're fine. And the next day, an ambulance shows up at his house and says, don't move. He had a broken neck.
Oh, wow.
And he walked home from the hospital, about a 2-mile walk that night. And because they didn't have anyone on the staff to read the x-rays, they didn't catch it till the next day and send an ambulance out to get him and back in. And then they put him on that angel-like thing, you know, the wood brace thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he had a broken neck, and they just said, okay, fine, go home. You know, I don't trust doctors. I hear so many things about, and I've known personally people that have gone in for something very simple, and they're dead. And just last year, my friend, I don't know why he died, and it just doesn't add up. When the doctor the night before said, oh, he's going to have a long recovery, you know, because his arm was broken, this and that. And then the next day they say he's dead. You know, I don't trust him. I don't. I won't go to a doctor or a hospital unless I break a leg.
Really? I mean, if you got like a broken something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just go get it reset. But I mean, for anything else, I either find natural way to heal it, or I just suffer from it because I'm not going in there. I don't trust them. And they're not, you know, the way they're taught anymore. They're not taught about nutrition.
Mm-mm.
They're only taught about pharmaceuticals and how to pump them out.
Yeah. And the U of M school in the U of M hospital is raking in just banking cash from the pharmaceutical industry, you know, because they
the universities. Look how much
just
money they pay for doctors' education, the pharmaceutical companies.
Huge.
Yeah.
Just absolutely huge. And the U of M here in Ann Arbor, the People's Republic of, they are raking in so much money, they're just ripping down old blocks like where there's like these old cool restaurants, you know, and they're just putting up these freaking gigantic cathedrals of new classrooms and new like research buildings, and oh my god,
you know where that money's coming from? The pharmaceutical companies.
Absolutely, without a doubt in my mind. That's why I call it.
I mean, well, when you think about it, on Prozac they make over, probably more now, but it was $250,000 a minute on that one drug. A minute from the worldwide distribution of it. I mean, that just boggles my mind, that much money.
Oh, absolutely.
On one drug. And then, you know, and then when the patent ends on it, they'll just change the color, the label, put a different name, and put it for something else.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's how they always do that. They repackage the same old crap, same old formula, and they resell it. It's just, it's sick. It makes me feel.
I mean, anyone that takes pharmaceutical drugs deserve it, because if you really go in and read all the side effects of something, why you would take that is beyond me.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, I mean, diarrhea, anal discharge, and all this shit. I'm just going, God, I'm better off just keeping whatever it is that's ailing me. But yeah, it's nuts. We're at the end of the show.
We are at the end of the show. All right, so let me go ahead and close out here.
All righty. Merry Christmas, everybody.
It's stay tuned, you guys. It's Wednesday. So we got a fairly good lineup here, and we've got on at 1 o'clock it's The Edge with John Stokes, and at 3 is the Jack Blood Show. And we've got at 6 is Anti-Tyranny News Radio with Josh. And then at 8 is The Continual Condition with Jonathan and Steven. And then at 11 o'clock is Anti-Media Radio with Nick Burnaby. You guys stay tuned to UCY.TV. So here we go to Bumper didn't play, right?
Not yet, but I think it has one more minute.
Oh, I can't tell.
So usually we don't get that in, so this time you got it in. So
I did, didn't I?
Yes,
well,
you did.
And it's Christmas Eve, you guys, so Merry Christmas, everybody, and there we go!
Bye-bye.
Have a Merry Christmas. Everybody stay safe, man.